live with Dragon. Welcome back to another video. So I wanted to put out something in relation to foundations of recovery that anybody could watch and immediately input some new information into their daily life that hopefully has a massive carryover effect into the recovery process. That is, if you're going through lower back injury, could be joint dysfunction, could be anything, could be chronic fatigue, any of those things. I think that if you understand some very simple concepts of the foundations of recovery, good things will happen as a result. So I have used these systems for myself, obviously, to recover from the last 3 herniated discs and some small joint dysfunction that I've had, whether it's in my knees, shoulders, yada, yada, yada. And what I've seen too is it's one thing to explain this to clients, but the one consistent thing that each client who's successful in the program does is they're able to adapt to the new stimuluses that are happening in terms of these new foundations. And they're able to be, keyword here, consistent in delivering those action items week over week. So what are those action items? What are these people specifically doing that is helping them recover and get to a pain-free state? We'll break it down, okay? Lifestyle, training, okay? Cardio and steps, and then recovery, which is a very generic term, recovery, and we'll kind of touch on this a little bit more. But in terms of lifestyle, what I like to think about is everything that you're doing outside of the gym, and obviously isn't predestined from like a work standpoint. So it could be hobbies, it could be food selection. Are we tracking calories in versus calories out, macros, any of that nature? From a training standpoint, a lot of you guys who follow the channel understand that I'm big on hypertrophy. I think that hypertrophy is great when done correctly. However, there's a lot of incorrect movements that are being facilitated in the gym. That's why if you get on a program, it's super important that there's a video tutorial of how to do each single movement in detail, and then the cueing is there from like a coaching standpoint as well. Outside of the training is, are you currently doing any SMR, or are you doing any foam rolling? And if you are doing foam rolling, fantastic. Are you doing the right areas? If you're doing the right areas, good. Let's take it a step further. Are you then mobilizing that tissue through mobility and stretching? If you are, fantastic. Now that kind of cascades outwards to your training, which is usually, as it applies to the lower back and the Dragon Spine coaching training, is a lower body focus, a posterior chain focus, direct low back work, and then upper back and trap work. There is a miscellaneous day for those who'd like to do, bicep, tricep, shoulders, all that fun stuff, if they have the ability to train that frequently. Not a lot of people have that much freedom, but if they can, there's obviously something in the program for those people as well. And then cardio and steps. So set a baseline number. Understand that typically, if we're looking at like health and longevity metrics, anywhere from 8K to let's say 12K is really a good place to be at. Okay, anything under 8K, you really want to look at human adaptation over time. And in terms of like all-cause mortality, there's definitely a more consistent trend for those people that are under 8K repeatedly than it was for the 8K and over. There is a diminishing returns around I think it's 15K or so. So I would say for most clients, especially when you're initially going through the herniated disc process, like 8 to 12K is usually the best bet. There are some cases where we'll go a bit lower, but in totality, it's just setting that baseline number and then titrating up over time. And then recovery. This is a big one. What's your sleep like? What's your hydration like? How do you decompress at night? Or what is your decompression tactics? Has that been eliminated from you because of the injury? Can you no longer do the things that you were doing to kind of get into that healthy mental space? Maybe you need something new. But it doesn't change the fact that you need to get back to a parasympathetic state at the end of the day so you can enter a long, restful sleep and then wake up fresh in the morning. Which brings me to the next point. How do you wake up in the morning? Do you feel like tired? Do you feel thirsty? Are you really, really hungry? All of those things have massive carryover into the, effectiveness of your training program. So everything is married into each other. Not one thing is going to supersede the other. You have to kind of mold and mesh these four things into structured pillars of discipline for yourself, so that way you can get past this stage of life, hopefully, and be pain-free. Now, once the plan is set up, right, your lifestyle is now a focus, your training is now a focus, your cardio, mobility, and your recovery is now a focus. How diligent can you be, right, day over day, to make sure you're hitting those KPIs? Or that's like a retail terminology, but how diligent can you be at checking those boxes that you've written for yourself? So I think if you set the number too high, you normally walk 5,000 steps, but you set the baseline. It's almost like a 75 hard thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. People who are inactive were like, I'm going to do 75 hard. I'm going to work out twice a day. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I want to make sure my macros are perfect. Why are we setting the bar this high? Where is the scale of performance over time? This is why burnout happens, and then we feel bad about ourselves, because we're setting unrealistic expectations on ourselves, and then we're failing to meet those expectations. I would much rather see somebody do, I'm going to walk 500 to 1,000 steps over my baseline. I'm going to eat 30 to 40 grams of protein with every single meal. And that can apply for both men and women in a lot of cases. And then we can kind of scale upwards from there. Okay, what do the carbohydrates look like? What do the fat content look like? How's the energy throughout the day? From a training standpoint, if you have no training going on and you're like, I'm gonna go to the gym 7 days a week. Why? You're gonna be in so much pain after day 2 or 3. It's just not realistic. So set the bar realistic to where you currently are in the process, and you're gonna get much better return on your focuses. So now if you're one of those people, right, who is able to set the bar in each one of those metrics, fantastic. Maybe you've been lifting for a year, training for a year, or you have some discipline where you're a former athlete, that's fantastic. But for a lot of people, they need help with getting into those metrics and setting a plan of action. That's obviously, when working with a coach, can be extremely beneficial just to get you off the ground and running, okay? Feedback is huge, feedback week over week. A lot of times the hurdles that we face for ourselves has already been done by somebody else, okay? Whether that's the dieting situation, whether that's making time to train, and maybe it's you don't want to go to the gym, you're not a gym person. So how do you get the most benefit from being able to train at home with only your body weight? It's 100% possible. Of course, there's some things that help, like kettlebells, dumbbells, bands, TRXs, everything like that. Is it super necessary? I don't think so. All in all, the point of this video is, when you see something online where it says this is like a one-step process to healing, just do these exercises, that is so basic and obviously contributes to the success of that person's rehabilitation, but it's only one side of it. So I caution everybody watching this video to make sure that you're having a really wide look at yourself in totality. So that way, when you have this really zoned out approach to your current lifestyle, you can then begin to look within and zone in and then hone in on these individual processes that are not only going to heal your lower back or your injuries, but also give you a healthier and total aspect on longevity's purpose for you as a person, okay? So that is the video for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. If you are interested in coaching with the Dragon, there is a JotForm link located on my YouTube. Fill that out. It only takes about 2 minutes. And then we will be in contact for a consultation, which is free. Have a great day. Dragon, ouse.